All right, here we go. Welcome to Jets Postgame Live, presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealers to get behind the wheel of yours today, alongside Bart, Scott, Willie Colon, Connor Rogers. I'm Steve Gelbs, and I think the best thing to sum today up is, and we're back. After a very encouraging week one, even though it wasn't a disappointing loss, this Mets, here we go again, this Jets team, looking a lot like some of the...
Similar.
Yeah, looking a lot like some of the games that we saw last year. Killer penalties, killer turnovers, and inability to play in front of the sticks. And, guys, you take it wherever you want to go, but all around, this was just a pretty brutal day for this team.
Yeah, that was some bad football. I mean, that might be some of the worst football I've seen almost ever. And that just lets you know that success or productivity in this league is not owned as rented. And rents do every week, and apparently the Jets didn't do what they needed to do to be able to come up with the payment, because that was horrible, no execution. You talk about discipline, penalties. We saw Xavier Gipson, be released because of, a mistake or a bad play. I don't know who you cut this week, but that's not going to get it done, especially against a team as quality as the Buffalo Bills, who I didn't think played particularly well in the first half as well. But this is a home game. You have to try and defend your home. You lost a tough one last week. I just expected better effort, better execution. And I know that we're going to say, hey, Justin Fields, the injury. But if he wouldn't have got injured, I don't know how much better it would have been for him, only completing 3 balls for 27 yards. And he missed some very, very key plays. Last week we applauded him and praised him, for his ability to throw the ball from the pocket. The Buffalo Bills made him try and beat him from the pocket. And he couldn't get it done.
Yeah, it was frustrating because it felt like this team was resting on their laurels, especially after what they did last week, right? And I think when you talk about what we wanted to see, it wasn't just about running the football. We talked about what we wanted to see out of Justin Fields, just being better at the position, and he wasn't. And I think, I think they got out-coached. I think they got out-bullied. Yep. And on top of that, Aaron Glenn, who I got a lot of respect for, you talk about the first drive, punt, fumble, punt. You give him the first half to kind of figure out, come into the third quarter, nothing happens. Why don't you pull him, right? Like, you live in the baseball world. If your guy just doesn't have it that day, why should the rest of the team suffer, right? Because you saw the guys they're battling. They never adjusted from a schematic point. They didn't help those guys out. The run game was pretty much non-existent. But you needed a quarterback to kind of sustain drives. That didn't happen. And I understand you don't want to pull the ball out of the young man's hands because you don't want him to lose his confidence. But you got to understand what you're here for. You're here to build structure. You're here to build a winning culture. You're here
accountability.
Accountability. But you're also here to provide some sense of confidence into a roster right now that is trying to figure out how to win games. Now, the only way to propel yourself after what you were able to do last week was to at least put up a dog fight against the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
The Buffalo Bills are Super Bowl contenders, bottom line. But it's how you leave the building what matters, and they got dog walk today at home again. Yeah. And so it's frustrating because I thought Aaron Glenn should have stepped up and said, hey, kid, let's try again next week.
Well, Connor, I do think, to Willie's point, it's not that they lost this game, they're 0-2. It's how they lost this game.
That's exactly right. I mean, they were touchdown underdogs for a reason, but they lost by a lot more than that. And it is in that fashion. And I think I try to rein myself in that because it's hard to evaluate things in a vacuum, that this is a new coaching staff and they are going to get punched in the mouth at times this year and learn, because all of us that have covered this team for a really long time, all the fans that have watched this team their entire lives, they're evaluating it as the Jets franchise of like, hey, we want to win now. We're sick of waiting. While this coaching staff is going to have these moments this year, what I think is unacceptable is you have years of tape of Michael Clemens having stupid penalties. And you went into the season not only with him on your roster, but he plays in a really massive role if you look at the snap counts after every week. And this is 3rd and 19, right? It's 0-0. This is an opportunity for you to get off the field and start to change the momentum early in the game after you had a 3-and-out. It's 3rd and 19. Because of the penalty, you've already knocked them out of field goal range. Not only do you get a personal foul that gives them a first down, but you put them right back near the red area. And this isn't one of those things where and he pulled him off real quick, yelled at him, he was back in the game right away. Did you watch any of the tape of this roster when you inherited it? Because you cut Xavier Gipson right after he made that fumble, and Gipson has had his problems over the years. This, to me, is one of those things where every fan in that stadium is going, we've sat there and watched that. Why didn't you see it coming?
Well, that's really the thing is, listen, we've all been around fans long enough. We've been fans to know that sometimes they're irrational and
Sure.
coaches see certain things. But it was pretty obvious going into this season that Xavier Gibson, that his fumbling was going to be a problem, that Michael Clemens, I mean, we talked at the end of last year about the fact that we're not even sure Michael Clemens is going to be in the league this year, and he's back on this Jets roster. And now, clearly, Gibson cost them a game last week. This week, it's hard to say that Clemens cost them the game because of
Changed
how
the
ugly
game.
it was, but when you start the game in that manner, it completely changed the momentum and where it was heading right from jump.
Then once again, what compounds that is that they're not tackling well at all as well. I mean, that's almost embarrassing. The missed tackle on Josh Allen that turned into a 40-yard scramble, and then the one by James Cooks was embarrassing. That he can make some highlight tape of running 40 yards. They gave up what? I don't even know how many yards they gave up running. It was ridiculous. And so, we thought the defense was going to be the strength of this team. It looks like right here, rallying bad angles. He just outflanked by two people's, pursuit angles on top of each other. Then that looks like he gave up.
Right.
I mean, I don't.
Bart, they gave up 224 yards on the ground.
That's ridiculous, right? That's ridiculous. And that's not the standard. What is the standard? This is supposed to be elite defense, but they, up to date is averaging giving up 30 points a game.